you going to move back to Japan someday?
Probably not. Probably not. I left my hometown when I was 18, never looked back, and I had this kind of hole. The only thing that I felt was, I don't belong here. I'm an outsider. I need to leave. Because it was a place my parents chose. It wasn't a place I chose. So I was looking for a place for me to choose.
And this place didn't make you feel like home?
We are getting on a midnight flight to go from Chiang Mai to Osaka. We'll arrive around 8 a.m. So we'll sleep through the night and head straight to my hometown. Feeling a little bit weird about it. I was telling Sunil that I'm going from technically one home to what used to be my home. But I will be honest, I'm not very excited about it. It feels like something I have to do.
Jasmine, it's not very Japanese of you to stand on the left.
Hey, I'm a farang now. I'm a gaijin, you know.
What are you?
Gaijin.
Gaijin.
サンダーバード号発車いたします。
Jasmine.
Hi.
Do you feel like coming back home?
Not right now. I still feel like I'm going on a trip. But it's weird because I know everything. Like, I've seen this view 5,000 times.
What do you miss the most about home?
Okay, what do I miss about Noto? The rice.
The rice.
The rice, absolutely. And the fish.
So what is home to you?
I'm figuring it out. But I think working theory is that it's a place where you can be yourself without fear of judgment from anyone. So a space where you feel like you belong, where it is emotionally safe. Working theory.
もうお母さんのお腹の中の頃からずっと日本なんですけど、
あ、そうなんだ。
はい
日本のどこ？
石川県輪島市出身です。Google マップで航空写真見たら、こう川があって、ブロッコリーのような山があって、その中にポツンってあるんですよ、うちの家が。自分の母親はロンドン出身なんですけど、後の学生としてこう日本の文化をこう最初出会って、でそれでこれやりたいって言って日本に来た。輪島塗っていう、漆なんですけど、もうめちゃくちゃもうマニアックな伝統工芸なんですけど。すごいね。
Did you find that the people were welcoming?
First of all, I think they thought we came from another planet. They pointed at us and said, foreigner, foreigner, everywhere we went, which was quite disconcerting. For my first child, going to school with all Japanese children, being the only foreigner, I think she had quite a hard time.
What is home to me? This is home.
Well, like, you guys were the beginning of me finding out what home might mean. Like, I met you guys in the co-living space a year ago, and the people that I've felt those like snippets of home with was when you guys were doing like the Friday dinners and like bringing people together in the co-living, and I was like, this feels homey. So it was like, in the search of home, you guys were an element in that kind of journey. So of all of the creative people that I know, I was like, I'm gonna go do this very like close to home, close to heart, like delicate journey. I wanted to be with people that make me feel at home, like home.
Okay, so now I'm gonna tear up, so we can stop this.
Honestly, this is my first time to visit Noto.
Noto.
Yeah,
Together we do it.
So I think same situation for
So let me give you the context of this whole program. I think it's very well known that Japan's population is declining. It's another well-known fact that this remote work, location independent kind of movement is growing. And so there has been a movement over the last few years where rural cities and towns in Japan that are having a population problem are kind of thinking, oh, maybe the remote workers or digital nomads are a way that we can get tourism, sustainable tourism to our town, not just like a few days, come to our city, drop some money and leave. That is a movement that's already happening and is being researched. Rural revitalization meets digital nomads. Shima-san just told us about the dinner that she's prepared for us. She was saying about the trays that's going to be presented with our dinner. It's wajima nuri. It's actually the same art that my mum does, but it's treated with a lot of respect. Like, unless an occasion like this comes, they don't really have a time to use it. So she was like, it's a celebratory occasion. We're going to bring it out. It's also super rare to be able to go in one of these because everyone's like pride possessions are in the kura. Mm-hmm. And like these plates are worth like hundreds of thousands. Yeah. And then they're in specific boxes that also like specific craftsmen make the boxes.
That's a lot of pressure. I don't want to break a plate.
But that's the thing, you can't, because it's wood and tree sap and cloth. Wajima nuri is one of the most durable cutlery plates.
綺麗ですね。綺麗ですよね。今の輪島のりと色が違うんです。本当に。
And then she was very like humble about her cooking. She's like, the plate, the tray is like very grand, but my cooking, I don't know. And like the boys were like, no. Like you're cooking us meal.
Yeah, I ate like last month, 2 months ago. It's amazing. Wow. But she say, no.
It's
every time.
Yeah, it's typical Japanese humility, no?
Yes.
It's like kenson da yo ne.
Kenson, yes.
Yeah. She was telling us about the fact that the main character of the meal is going to be an omusubi. I explained to you guys in the train earlier that we call it onigiri from the action of like grabbing, like nigiru, that movement. But the way she's called it was omusubi, which is the same thing, but it also adds the extra connotation of that connection that I told you about, because we make the onigiri with our hands and then we give it to someone else. So that kind of connection is also embodied in the omusubi.
I make with care.
Will you add the food into the list of what feels like home?
Yeah, absolutely. Food will probably unlock something for sure. The government is now bringing nomads to these locations to just test it out as a monitor tour to see what a nomad in the wild basically would appreciate. Yeah, exactly. 7-Eleven is actually the survival hack for all nomads traveling in Japan. There's hot coffee, there's hot food. Even the rice there is tasty, and that's coming from a rice snob. It's how I survived 8 months in my car and traveling around Japan as a nomad before I knew digital nomadism. Granted, we're in like the best of what they've chosen for us. They really want us to feel the Japanese culture and feel the warmth of the people, because they already know, they've been clued in that people come for community, people come for people. And so they're trying to showcase what they can best provide or showcase to the global nomad community.
Have you seen any pictures of the aftermath of the earthquake?
Only immediately after, so I haven't been able to look at anything since.
So you don't know how the house looks?
No. My hometown, Noto, got hit by an earthquake in 2024, January 1st, and the whole peninsula was basically destroyed. They are now looking for ways to revitalize the city and stimulate economy, like try to bring that vibrancy back to the peninsula. The infrastructure for remote work or even English speakers isn't very prevalent in rural Japan. So now that everything has been destroyed with the earthquake, they are thinking, okay, well, if we need to rebuild anyway, maybe we can build in a way that is more welcoming to outsiders if they can bring value to our town and to our area.
From the context, it looks like they must have talked about what they want to bring back after the earthquake. I think these are talking about the future, what they're trying to get funding for to rebuild. So I think it probably was like a brainstorming session or something. They're really being intentional about how they want to rebuild the town.
But the other side is the locals also need to be open to it in order for the human connection to be formed, in order for nomads to be able to integrate. So we kind of need to see how the locals will react to having foreigners here too. And that's where I come in as well, as the person who has spent her whole life here and is very skeptical to the idea that these people, like my hometown people or this area people, would be open to outsiders. So far, we went to the co-working space and the ladies were happy to talk to us. And I asked them a direct question, like, if you saw more of us, as in like non-Japanese looking people roaming around, like, how would your impression be? And they were like, we'd be happy to see people here. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's normal for the mentality to be a little bit more inwards. They're more protective of their culture, of their village, and not so open to the rest of the world. And I lived through that experience as a child and a foreign family in Noto, that yes, there is an element of obviously community where we know each other, we know our neighbors, all of that goodness that is Japanese countryside, but fundamentally we were the foreigners, we were the outsiders. It was a big reason why I never felt quite at home. The project leader, Hiro, we just happened to bump into each other in Bansko Nomad Fest. He was already running this initiative. He did the first tour in July, and he was telling me about it as another Japanese speaker. And he was like, oh, have you heard of Noto before? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from there. And so the whole thing was like, what? how are you from Noto? You're white. It was actually because I have a bit of a love-hate relationship and complicated emotions around Noto. And he was like, well, if we can convince you, we can probably really push it forward. So I want to be open-minded to it, but my past tells me that it's a bad idea, to be honest, but I don't want it to be true. Like, I want to be able to be proud of my hometown and see the warmth and the openness that it is supposed to have.
Hiro, what are we doing?
We will do onsen tamago. Can you see?
How hot is it here?
Over 100.
Over 100?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So, is it naturally boiling?
Naturally.
What?
カゴに入れて入れと
ここに入れて入れるだけ。はい。
We have the spoon. We have the basket.
What are those?
Oh, we have the eggs. These are eggs. No. We
入れちゃう？
入れちゃう？どうですか？割れてるやつ。熱いよ。
あ、まだじゃない？あ、でもいやいける？
でももう
あ、無理だ
22
な。
分。
あ、いけるいけるいけるいける。ほら。あ、
熱いよ。まだ多分冷やした方がいいよ。Looks too hot. Oh, that's a much cuter.
Are you gonna slurp it?
I think
Wait
so.
a minute.
Sorry?
Are you gonna slurp it up?
何スローピーアップって何？
Slurped it.
Okay. Super random. Ladies wave.
熱い。
Too hot to handle.
We went out for sushi.
Huh? Sushi?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we went out for sushi. Sushi.
Jasmine, is this going to be the best sushi I had in my life?
Yes. I think.
Depends on where you have sushi.
It doesn't depend because Noto has the best sushi in the world.
1日目になんか5キロ地点ぐらいで気づいたら顔めっちゃ血まみれだし喋りのにめっちゃしてでそんなのある絶対そうやる感動ね
ちょっと普通に涙
あららららららららららあららららららららそんなにそこへどうして帰ってきたいやもう
Yeah, I literally cried.
It was so good. Like, I
This is what I've been talking
knew
about.
that the fish are about to be good, but then I was also surprised. Like, even though I had high expectations. Like, the buri, it's like butter. It's like melted.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so, like, tender.
Jasmine, next time you're gonna cry, tell me.
俺が苦しくなってくる。
衝撃すぎる衝撃 This is my song.
Okay.
What you gonna do when the sun me like Babylon Ball All season, don't stop punching Through kill so everything good また始まるこれ味があるそこに愛があるから神がかる何やまぬからしからず細かい感がしやがるゼロからつま先までの衝撃の稲妻俺たちの耳を伏せる音の稲妻 I am starting to realize that my character isn't just this whole like in the middle between Japan and the UK culture. It's Noto. Like there are elements of being raised in this place that have shaped me that I never even gave it credit for. I was raised here. I breathed the sea air. I breathed the mountain air. I lived in front. Like I've lived the elements of this very harsh place. Hiro, the project leader, one of the ways he convinced me to come back was he was like, Noto represents the most rustic side of Japanese history and culture. And I was like, really? Like, I never knew that about my hometown. Me being from Noto, I was always looking out, was like, I want to go to the UK, I want to go outside, I want to travel, wow. But I wasn't actually looking at the place that I was from.
そういうキーワードってふるさとにも私がやっぱり生まれ育ったところが、そこがやっぱり自分のふるさとですね。その地域がなくなってもなくなってるんですよ。実際津波で 3.11 で全部水没しちゃったところないんですよ。ないんですけど、やっぱり生まれ育ったところが小さい時にそこで幼少期を過ごしたところがふるさとに父と母がいてっていうのがふるさとかなって、自分のやつはね、自分のやつは本当に小さい時に親に手引かれて、この、村の細いこういうやつ赤とんぼがそういうことしか思い浮かべないんですよ。嫌なこと結構あるんだけれど、結局嫌なことを忘れて親と一緒にやったこと、そのこと光景が出てくると、そういうもんじゃないでしょうかね。ふるさとってそれは自分でしか分からなくて人に強要するものでもないし。
What's the story of you killing your morning glory?
Elementary school, first grade, we all have to have a morning glory plant to learn how to take care of something. And I failed. First attempt, I failed. Blue pot here, they've killed theirs too. That is literally every elementary school first year is given a blue box like that. And we're supposed to observe how the morning glory grows. But like, that's such a typical, that they have a kid and they had to do it and they killed it. My people.
Have you ever faked being a tourist?
Yes, when I'm outside of my home village, for sure. People expect you to be a certain thing. You know that they're not gonna accept the fact that like I'm from here. So it's just like, oh, where are you from? Oh, from England is like the easiest thing. Most of the time, especially in the rural areas, they just want to have spoken to a foreigner. So like, I will play the foreigner. No one expects me to say Japan. And it's just like, they genuinely don't care. If I'm white, if I'm Caucasian, people expect me to be American, they expect me to be Russian, Dutch, German, whatever, from their experience and limited knowledge, I guess.
Do you ever caught someone like talk about you?
All the time. All the time. The thing about Japanese people is they hardly ever tell you to your face. So they would be crossing you and drop a comment like, oh, she's so tall. Or like, whoa, like, she's...
To themselves?
To themselves, but it's so loud that I can hear as well. Sometimes they're not even like with friends or something, they have to say it out loud. Like, wow, deka. You know, like, oh, she's so giant. I hate the word dekai because it's just like giant, huge. One anecdote that was really like stuck with me, it was a university entrance exam. I'm in school uniform, taking a standardized university entrance exam. Almost everyone in the country knows about it, it's in the papers and everything, right? And so I was with my schoolmate, my classmate, going up an elevator, and these old Japanese guys in suits, just like talking about me in front of me in an elevator. And I'm just standing there with my friend, and my friend's just like, because she grew up with me, so and she'd never really seen this side of my life before, and she was just like looking up at me like, what, are you gonna say anything? But I was so stressed because of the exam that we're gonna take the next day and stuff. I had no patience for it, and they were asking my friend, or what's she doing here kind of thing. And my friend says, oh, she's taking a standardized university test, entrance exam. obviously in Japanese. And they still are asking her questions about me. And I'm just there like, in Japanese obviously. She just told you we're taking the standardized university exam. I was born and raised here. I studied really hard and I'm taking your goddamn test, you know? To go to a Japanese university. Thank you, I speak your language. My tone was quite aggressive, especially for Japanese. This old man continues to talk to my friend and ask questions about me. Oh, where's she from? I could have pulled that guy's hair out. I was so mad. So it's not actual like racism, but it's Japanese or non-Japanese. So if you don't look Japanese, that's where the discrimination comes in. But it's not like they try to treat you differently from a malicious point of view. It's more of like they don't know how to handle you sort of thing. Yeah, I definitely have moments too when policemen would ask for my gaijin torokusho, now Zairyu card. I'm kind of glad that they changed the name, even though it's still the same thing.
A foreign registration card, like it's an alien registration card.
Yeah, it was just like
thanks, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Really appreciate that.
And like I actually got fined once for not having it with me. I had to pay 5,000 yen, and I was like, but this is my home. Like, why? That was definitely like the frustration period.
So I think it's pretty nice. I wrote them in the fitness.
Yeah.
I wrote like, don't be afraid.
Oh, it's like coffee. Like coffee. But inside it's not.
Okay, so it's September 10th, 2025, and I find myself sitting in my home prefecture, and I reckoned it would be a good thing to try and record something. Despite it being 11:30 p.m. and I'm exhausted, I feel like this moment is not going to come again. This small town represented confinement. It represented being trapped in a place that I didn't belong. As children, we learn how to be from our parents, from our neighbors, from our community. I was always afraid of the consequences of actually expressing myself because of all of these codes that were confusing me. If I acted a certain way in one place, what were the consequences going to be? Because those rules contradicted from the rules at home, but the rules at home contradicted the rest of the world, my world, which was rural Japan. So I felt like I was never quite enough. Like I wasn't quite given enough tools to make it in one world or the other. I went from trying to be Japanese and fit in as much as possible in my hometown and growing up to not caring three straws or trying not to care about what Japanese people thought about me and just played the gaijin card. I'm a foreigner, you're not going to accept me anyway, so why should I try? But then the thing was, I was now trying to be a foreigner, I was trying to be British, only to find out that I knew nothing about that either. I used to feel ashamed of myself, that somehow I was lacking, that somehow I wasn't enough to be able to fit in with the culture here, with the community here, with the people here. I didn't think I would ever go back. When I found out my childhood home was destroyed, some schoolmates asked me, was I going to fly back? And I was like, why would I? I'm not a firefighter, I can't do anything, I'm just gonna get in the way. Especially because they were telling civilians to stay away. So I felt useless, I felt like I was some kind of a bad person because I didn't want to go back, and frankly, there was a part of me that was like, I don't care. But the thing was, I did care. I just didn't want to care because I felt like they never accepted me. So why should I care? But of course, there's always that little voice that says, but Jazz, that's your hometown. That's the place that made you. I felt so ashamed of myself. So I've taken this opportunity to come back and face that with an open heart and see how I can help, if I can help. And to do that, the little girl who always felt like she had to be alone has come back with a piece of her chosen family and the home that she has found outside.
This is one of the oldest ways of fishing. A guy sits at the top. And
there's a guy at the top.
Well, that's a doll. That's a doll, but I
Yeah.
grew up and found out like they would just watch for these massive fish and then.
Cool.
I don't actually know how.
Yeah. Did you used to catch fish?
Yeah, there's a sunken boat. We had friends with boats that we would take out and we'd get sea urchins and sailfish straight from the water and just eat them on the boat.
Oh.
We'd also go out, hang out with the dolphins.
Do you feel like you brought here a group of tourists?
No, I feel like I brought my friends to see my home. It's like, but I'm a little bit shy as well. I'm like, this is where I'm from, you guys. Like, so rural. It's like little village.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. この景色が綺麗でみんな写真撮りたいって。
ようこそようこそ。英語喋れない。
いやいや。
どういうんけ？
Please say welcome to the.
いやすごいスラッと大きい身長。すごい。ごゆっくり言ってください。通訳をね。
Take your time.
ごゆっくり。はいはい。私のここ田んぼです。ここね。今あっちに今あっち今あっちに借りる。
She likes it there for foreign guests.
あれです。多分こう行けば見えると思いますけど。
そうですね。ありますね。
The Yagura, the old fishing boat that I told you.
ですね。
老眼やから遠いとこは見えるね。滑ります。滑るって何ですか？
気をつけます。
お気をつけて。
ありがとうございます。
では、良い旅をね。はい、ありがとうございます。はい、ほなね。はい、ご苦労様。
She just wanted us to make sure we saw the Yagura.
So she's even more excited about it than you.
She wants us to see it. Obviously, not knowing that we drove past one.
Yeah.
She's like, look, there's another one. You can go turn right at this.
So she's very proud of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so sweet.
これ綺麗じゃん。
Yeah. Fixing the mountain again.
あ、いけないわこれ。
Are you seeing the guys up there? I think they're fixing mountains.
We can see the temple. I remember their number from childhood because it was the only other number I called other than home. Because it's the house of my childhood friend who I grew up with. We did classical ballet together. They had a forwarding number and I called it. And her mum answered and she was like, Jasmine? Like I haven't heard from you in years. And I was like, well, yeah, I haven't been back in years, but I hope you're doing okay. She's currently living in temporary housing, like 5 minutes away because the earthquake destroyed the living quarters. But yeah, like she gave me an update on the village and who's in the temporary housing, who's still got their house intact and all of that. I've been here once in the last 10 years or so and I didn't contact anybody. But Hiro convinced me to just ring them up, and I was like, okay, I'll just call because I remember the number, and it's here we go. This was all like the houses that we've been seeing with the kochimo. These ones too, all temporary housing.
There's a lot of them. So you live in the jungle?
Yeah, basically. でもなんかこれやっぱりテントみたいなやつ全部地震のこれも仮設住宅だよね。It's all temporary housing.
こういう書いてあります。
road's destroyed. The main road. It's gone. More things are gone.
What's gone?
Like just buildings that used to be landmarks are just not there anymore. Ooh. What the? Oh.
Whoa.
This was my friend's house. They lived here.
Wow, that's a temple.
And then, it was connected to the temple, but... Oh, this is my friend's mom. こんにちは。お久しぶりです。ご無沙汰しております。こんにちは。ちゃんと日本人も連れてきてます。いやー、本当ですね。
で、そこには彼女ちっちゃい時にだから遊びに来て泊まったり遊んだりしてたと思うけども、
いっぱい問題を起こして。
もっと向こう側まで
平たかったですよね。
地面あって竹やぶがあったのが全部なくなって、ここ今ギリギリちょっと立ってるんで。
でもここの景観完全に変わってますもんね。
全然あっち側が
This was the family that like taught me about Japanese culture basically. ありがとうございます。
もうこのままください。
いいですか？
物がそのままで、一応今ちょっと物をちょっと整理、なかなか整理できてないけど。
そうですよ。I remember it being bigger for sure because I was tiny, but like these dragons on the thing. I remember my friend telling me about the story of like the Buddhist representation and stuff. Like this was completely open, obviously, and all the neighborhood children would come together and like have barbecues, like with the village adults and stuff. And this was the place, like outside, like where it's flat. We had so much space, and then this was where we would like sleep, hang out. And she was just telling me that like there was landslide and it blocked the river. So the path that we just came through, she couldn't get out. So she and her two daughters had to run through the rice paddies and to like get to safety. And I was just like, oh, thank God you're safe, you know. Like there are other temples that were completely destroyed, but this was still standing. So they want to slowly but surely fix it. But the thing is like, there's not enough people to hire. And then also because it's a temple, the building material is super expensive. So like it's kind of like, where do we start?
Is there any kind of like warning, or was it just like happen?
It happened.
Wow.
They have a grandma who's in a wheelchair, and thankfully by that point they had put her in a retirement home, so like they could be taken care of. But if grandma was here, she was saying that they probably wouldn't be able to escape because they're not going to leave grandma behind, but they can't like carry her either. So it's just like, I'm listening with like goosebumps. It's incredible that a modern built house, completely flattened, and a 400-year-old building is still standing. And you can actually see, mini history lesson, but like you can see that there are no, these are like wooden slots that basically work as nails. So it's like the more ancient way of building, so it moves with the land and contracts and expands. So it's like old Japanese wisdom at its best that is still standing. Right there is when we were having the Buddhism versus Christianity conversation. I think I was at maybe 7 or 8 or something, and we were just like, your grown-ups are telling you different things from my grown-ups. Yeah. They hit the bell until New Year comes, so Takayanagi-san and her 2 daughters would take turns to do it all until the next day, like the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Feel it, do it, try. Feels amazing, don't be shy. It's old news, so the TV doesn't like put it up anymore, doesn't report on it anymore, so people tend to think like, oh, they're okay, they've revitalized, everything's fine, but actually in reality, there's still so much work to do. Like I said, the morning market is the thing that people would come to our city for. It used to be like the trade market, the fish market, like, but then as the population declined, it became like less and less, and as with everything, it became like the tourist place. So not actual live market, but like for the tourists. Still, it was what people came here for. Completely destroyed in the earthquake. So now they're temporarily doing it in the supermarket because it's the thing, so that can't die.
And this is supposed to be like the local thing?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Like, what happened? I said, I just have allergy reaction. And she's just buying me soap. And they're both explaining on my behalf. Like, she's from here. She's my kid's classmate.
なんかここに何か書いてあるらしい。なんか書いてあるんです。すごいざっくりした説明や。使ってみて。後では日本語 OK だから説明してあげて。します。日本だから小坂周平。
ああ、わかる。受ける。
ちょっと待ってね。
なんか懐かしい顔。
What's she doing?
She's showing me my classmates' pictures.
はい。和装一族。兄ちゃん、夏美、達也。
I was always waiting for the bus on the road, and like I don't know her, but she knows me from like.
Because you're recognizable.
So she said that she's currently living in 4 tatamis with 2 people, and 1 tatami is probably the size of a futon that we slept on. 4 between 2 people. That's a small square. minutes from my place now.こちらでございます。この外人でしょみたいな。丸見えだから。ずーっと車らへんまで全部行ってる。見つかる前に帰ろう。Wow, that was a mountain road that we would go down for a walk. Cannot access anymore. It's gone. Yep. That's all got flattened as well, and then we would go down.
What was there?
My path to my house. That was. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Thanks. Whoa. I wasn't quite expecting that. It's like gone. Like actually gone. Wow. Oh.
Was it the one at the end? Like,
Yeah.
that has the trees on?
Because we had two buildings. One was a barn that my mum used as a gallery. That was a roof that you saw. Next to that was the actual house, which is
Wasn't there?
not there anymore. Wow. Gone. This was my old playground. この土管、ここに村の子供みんな集まって遊んでた。なんか聞いてると思ったらいたちゃんと。あった隠れてる。
本当だ。
でもこれ怪我するけん気をつけて。These diamond ones, they're prickly, so please be careful. Don't go into the grass.
山遊びした人のあれだな。
相当それで怪我してるから。This one. There is a river here, but my dad had built a bridge. 橋を作って、ここから本当に獣道。あと300メートルぐらい。
めっちゃいいね。Is the bridge still there?
I don't know. We can take a look な。
Let's go for it.
Of course, This was the bridge. And then that's my bicycle shed.
Oh.
And then you can see the path there.
Just for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get my shoes.
I know the one.
Go down. There's a lot of spiders. Go down, 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 down.
Ah, 大丈夫. They're not poisonous.
Okay.
ほら、I said we couldn't go. 行けないって言ったでしょって。
そうだね。
I told you.
Yeah.
失礼します。
Watch out, he's right there.
I know, I know. そこまで近づく必要あるかな。なんか私は行きたいけど。だよね。
これは俺も行きたい。
Let's look at it from the other side of the river.
Okay.
So that was the barn.
That was the barn.
And then where was the house?
Next to it.
Oh, like where those logs are there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When my parents were here in the earthquake, from what I know, obviously, secondhand, the main bridge that we just crossed was broken. They couldn't cross it. And as you can see, this side's completely closed off. So it's January 1st, super cold. They crossed, in their wellies. And I have a complicated relationship with my parents, but I hadn't spoken to them for years, and I was just starting to try to talk to them again, but there were some difficult conversations that needed to be had, and I didn't have it in my capacity to be here for them, be here with them. And even though I was trying to honor my own emotions, there's a huge part of me that feels guilty that I wasn't here, and that it's taken a year and 9 months to even set foot. So I'm just kind of dealing with that emotion right now, but at the same time, I'm home, in my childhood home with my people now, and seeing you guys with the chestnuts and stuff, it makes me really happy. It's look, this is where I played as a child. This is where we fished for guppies and threw stones at each other, and so I'm really happy to show you guys this is where I'm from. And then I look up and I'm like, oh shit, there's such weird, complex emotions going through me right now. My parents chose this random place for Lord knows why, whatever reason. And now as a grown-up, I can see it from their eyes a little. I can see the beauty of this place. And I think that's the joy I feel when I see you guys playing or seeing and appreciating it. I'm like, yeah, my hometown is beautiful. So I love that I can feel that now through all of the connections that I've made and all of the goten that I've been blessed with. So let's go celebrate that at the festival. Let's.
have always tried to translate this Japanese concept of goen into English, and there's no actual translation, but the closest translation I can find is serendipity. And it's the idea of we are all connected with this invisible string of sorts, and we are meant to meet people when we are supposed to meet people.
I've discovered that home isn't necessarily, not for everyone, but it doesn't have to be necessarily tied to a geographic location. And for me, as someone who has moved around a little bit now for about 3 years, I've found that sense of belonging, finally. And where I found it was in my people, in the community that I'm starting to develop. So you, Ohan, behind the camera, and Eden, you guys were the first example, like I told you before, of like, oh, this is what home could look like. From then, I have been hyper-focused into trying to find words to describe and like reflect on the events that did actually happen and be like, what were the elements? And then, so now I've consolidated it into a framework, and I'm serving women who have been in similar experiences, not the chodoi nakakko part, but being exhausted, putting on these different masks. I'm helping people come home to themselves.
Yeah, もちろんです。すいません、撮影してました。ちょっとね、でも全然大丈夫。